Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new around here, my name is Natalie Holbrook. I am a professional astrologer and also a sales and business coach. And today we are going to continue on with our Saturn Return series. Now, I had my Saturn Return almost 10 years ago, which is so crazy. But as an astrologer and as someone who loves to work with especially this age range of 27 to 33, I just really feel like it is my mission and it is my duty to support you guys as you are also moving through this extremely transformational and really, it can be a really incredible time of your life. So we are in Saturn getup today. Saturn loves black. Saturn loves tight, slicked back ponies. This is because Saturn loves things to be nice and clean and disciplined and organized and slick, right? Also, I am at the most incredible resort. I am at Eterio Auberge, the resort collection that is just so incredible here in Mexico in Riviera Maya. So as you can see, I am in the most amazing room. I'll show you guys the view. We'll put that into this video as well. And I wanted to film here and specifically do this series because it is actually through me really working with my Saturn that I was able to come here. I am going on a retreat with one of my personal mentors, and this is a very luxurious retreat. Saturn also loves luxury as the payoff, but only when you put in the work. So what we're going to talk about today is the 3 things that I really recommend for you to know if you are going through your Saturn return. And these are 3 things that I would have told my younger self during this period. It is so imperative to really listen to knowledge, to gather wisdom during this time, because these are some of the most transitional years of your life. And the decisions that you make are going to affect literally the rest of your life, especially the next 20 years of your life, which is the rest of your life because it's going to be moving in from your late 20s into essentially your late 50s. And that is when you get married, you have kids, you have career peaks, you meet your best friends. Like that is really the prime of your life. So I wanted to create this video to set you guys up. If you don't know your Saturn placement, you can click the link below and go to my website, lovenatalieholbrook.com, where you can pull your chart. And what you want to do when you're looking for your Saturn placement is you always want to look at what sign is it in and also what house is it in. And Saturn is here to ask you to be disciplined, to be devoted, to be diligent in these areas of life. And when you can really step into embodying those pieces, that is where you will begin to master this energy. Now, the thing about Saturn, just to remind you all, and anybody who is new to learning about Saturn, is that Saturn is always going to give us some type of blocks or barriers or challenges. It can be extremely subconscious so that we don't even know, oh my gosh, I have this block here. It could be something that we stuffed down from childhood. It could be something that, happened when we were like 13 years old and we literally forgot, but our body held onto it. Our subconscious held onto it. Saturn held onto it. So the deeper that you go into this work and that you can really sit with yourself and think about, especially with these 3 lessons that I'm going to tell you and these pieces of advice, is there anything there that maybe you haven't emotionally processed yet? Because our body really does store, our subconscious stores these emotions and they can really hold us back. The moment that we then can let go of these emotions, we can release them, we can honor them, we can love them, we can accept all of these different parts of ourselves. That is when we can truly step into the healing, and then we can move to the other side where we can be in transformation, where we can be in that sense of mastery. So let's get into it. So the first piece of wisdom that I want to give you guys, and that I think is really powerful, honestly, regardless of what stage of life you're in, but specifically when you are in your Saturn return, is to practice non-attachment, because Saturn is going to come in and it is going to rattle your world up. It is going to ask you to work harder, to work smarter. You might have to deal with really difficult situations in life that honestly just are a part of the cycle of life, whether that is experiencing a death in the family, a death of a pet, a huge breakup, a job loss, maybe a career redirection. Maybe you think that you're going in one way and it just feels like there's door after door after door slamming on your face. It is actually totally normal to have these types of experiences during your Saturn return. And the universe is asking you, can you please let go of the way that you think that things should be? And instead, if you can allow yourself to flow and say, okay, this didn't work out. I'm not going to take this personally. I'm not going to make this all about me and why I suck, or, lament and ruminate in self-pity. That is when you can actually step into being your higher self. You can step into saying, okay, this or something better always. Now, one specific thing that I want to talk about in non-attachment that is so important during the Saturn return, that comes up for every single one of my clients. Honestly, everybody that I know goes through this during their Saturn return, myself deeply included, is that we also need to have very strong non-attachment within our relationships. Now, a lot of times we will see relationships falling away. We will see that maybe we are really tied to validation. Maybe we really care about what people think about us. Especially, I feel like when you're in your late 20s and your early 30s, you're truly finding yourself. And finding yourself is a lot about finding what you don't want to be. I had to go through a deep experience of losing friends. I was gossiped about. I was slandered. I had my name slandered. And when we go through these experiences where we feel like we are judged, when we are misunderstood, which for me as a Gemini moon, being misunderstood was like one of the worst things possible. And a lot of times for anyone who has a strong air energy, especially if you have Gemini, if you have Libra, Aquarius also, and also I really want to point out Cancer and Leo are very tied to this as well, because there's this sense of attachment and sometimes codependency that can feel so attached and desired to be liked and to be loved. And all of a sudden, when we are not loved or we are not accepted, then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, who am I? And I need to prove myself, and I want people to love me, and I want people to like me. But Saturn is like, I don't care. You need to do the right thing. You need to listen to your intuition. You need to listen to your heart. And when you do that and you stop trying to seek approval, you stop trying to fit in with the cool kids or do what's cool on Instagram and, get likes and all of these things that are fake validation, Saturn is going to come in and is going to slap you silly, baby girl. It is going to say, here is what is real. Here is what is raw. You don't have time, because Saturn rules time. You do not have time to care about these little details that are petty, that are gossipy, that are throwing you off, because you can get stuck in that cycle. And this is what you really want to let go of. And you really want to be non-attached to the way that people think about you, the way that people look at you, the way that people judge you. Remember, the best quote ever, one of my favorites, is, "It's not any of my business what you think about me," right? And it's so true, because imagine look at all these celebrities. Do you think that they can live their life by the way that people are judging them? No way, right? Like, that would drive someone crazy. It literally does drive many of them crazy. And we actually see it up on, People Magazine and on Instagram and TikTok and here, we see it all. And this is what we really want to let go of for your mental health. And also, Daddy Saturn is saying, be okay with not being liked. Be okay with not being everybody's cup of tea. Practice non-attachment in the way that other people think about you, talk about you. Of course, you're not going to be a jerk, right? You're still going to be a good person, but do not rely on outside or external validation. Now, this also goes for certifications, acknowledgments. Maybe you're going for a job and you didn't get it. Maybe the person that you thought you were going to marry and you break up, or they dump you, right? The thing that you thought was like the worst case scenario, like whatever is the worst thing possible that could happen to you, and it happens. This is where we really get to practice non-attachment, and Daddy Saturn will reward you. Okay, now the second thing kind of comes from also the first, which is to know your worth. This is so important, because sometimes we subconsciously just go after things that we think that we can get, Whether this is a job, whether it's a group of friends, whether it's someone that we're dating, we're like, well, this person likes me, or these friends are just here and I'm just comfortable. So I'm just gonna stick around and stay here and do this because it's easy and this is just what I know and this is just what I'm worthy of. But you need to remember, you are inherently worthy. You are literally made of stardust, okay? There is no other you. There is a 40 trillion chance to be you. Do you get that? 1 in 40 trillion chance for you to come down, look the way you do, have the personality you do, have the birth chart you do, have all of these amazing qualities. And so the more that you start to develop your worth by experimenting, go out, try different things, try different jobs, live in different countries, study different things, right? Meet other people, date other people, try out different groups of friends. And the more that you can do that and explore, you will begin to find yourself and you will begin to really understand what you are worthy of. I know so many people who will stay in relationships, stay in marriages, stay with the same group of friends, stay in jobs, all because they feel that it is safe. They don't intrinsically feel that they are worthy of getting the big job, of having the dream romance, of having the healthy, fit body, of being glowing and thriving in life. But it's really important that you look at that and you look at yourself and you say, where did this come from? Where is it that I somehow had this new programming and conditioning, which pretty much is just our societal conditioning, and then from our families and from whatever ancestral lines that have been inherited to us? You get to decide that you want to be different, that you are going to choose. I am worthy of an amazing life. I am worthy of sharing my gifts. I am worthy just because I was born. I am worthy because I am a child of the universe. I am a child of God. Sky Daddy up there wants me to succeed. I have angels. I have guides. You are worthy of sharing your gift and your message and really of literally whatever you dream of. That is what I love so much about astrology, because astrology shows us our chart of what we're here to be. And I remember that when I first learned that I was a Leo rising, I was like, oh my gosh, I always wanted to be either an actress or I wanted to be on camera. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to sing. And, you know, I shut that off. I grew up, and a lot of times with our rising signs, we actually grow up being our rising sign. And then something usually will get shut off within us. For me, I know it got shut off when I was in 6th grade because I wasn't popular and all of my friends became popular and I was really shy and I gained weight and it was sad. But this, you know, so many of us, how many of us have like this sad middle school journey, right? So then you come back from it and you say, I want to heal that little version of myself and remember that I'm worthy, that I am here for a big reason. I'm here for a big purpose. And as you guys are in your Saturn return, this is the time for you to discover that, for you to rediscover, for you to reclaim, especially the return. That is all about redoing things, refinding, reimagining, revisiting, right? Reawakening. So that is number 2. Now, number 3, this is one of my all-time favorite things just in life, and something that I think during the Saturn return to really just ease the process and to better help you and support you in navigating is something that you might not have thought of, but it's something that is near and dear to my heart, because I think that when we do this thing, this is when everything in life just gets easier and better. We feel more fulfilled, we feel more on purpose, and we really tune into our hearts. And that thing is to throw yourself into service. When you can throw yourself into service and into giving and into making it not just be about you. Yes, this is your life, but also like you have to get out of your head. You have to get out of your body. You have to remember and be a part of community, be a part of somehow giving back. Now, there are so many ways that this could be, right? This could be as little as, you know, smiling at somebody and opening the door for them. This can be buying somebody's tea or matcha or whatever you drink behind you in line, right? This can be randomly giving someone a $20 bill. This can be giving a really nice tip. This can also be being a part of a community where you go and you actually serve. And maybe you are giving lunches to the homeless, or you are volunteering, or you are, working with a rescue dog, or you buy a dog. I mean, anything with animals is complete service because you are spending your money on this little thing, right? And you are taking care of it and you are loving it. Oh my gosh, it is like the biggest win-win to have a dog or to have a pet back, because it just gives you that unconditional love. But when you can throw yourself into being a part of something that is bigger than yourself, this is when your heart will just burst. You will feel like, I'm in purpose, I'm on purpose. And maybe it doesn't mean that, it's your purpose in life to go serve at a food bank or something, right? It could be anything, but it will help you as you are navigating. It will help you as you are moving through and navigating your Saturn return to really understand and to know, okay, maybe I can look outside of myself and I don't have to just be in my own problems, in my own hardships all of the time, right? When you're going through something and then all of a sudden you start dancing, or you go to a concert, or, you do something to take your mind off of it. This is exactly what service is doing. Service is supporting you in taking your mind off of your own problems. You're able to disconnect from whatever thing is on loop happening up here, and you are able to give. Giving is living. When we can give back to others, this additional part of ourselves is extended. And from there, we are really able to stand in the truth of who we are, especially if you can take leadership, if you can somehow be a guide, or you can say, I'll go first, I'll do it, I want to lead, I want to support, I want to help, I want to put together, a charity event, or I want to gather socks and we give them to the homeless, or I want to make sandwiches and we're going to go deliver them, or I want to rescue this dog. When you say, I'm just going to do this because I am worthy of doing something like this and I have love to give out. Listen, if you are feeling like you don't have love in your life, you need to go give love. That is what Saturn also wants you to do. In order for you to receive, you must give. Now, a few other things that kind of have to do with this about Saturn is that Saturn is in what's called exaltation in Libra. So when a sign is in exaltation, it means that they do really well there. So Saturn is over here in Libra, and the reason for this is because Libra is about people. It's about how is it that we can build relationships, that we can work together, that we can make things better by bridging the masculine, the feminine, the rich, the poor, the black, the white. We bring all of these together and we put them into balance. When we are out of balance, Saturn is like, honey, it wants you to come back into balance. That is why Saturn is exalted here. So, my loves, just to do a recap, remember non-attachment, especially regarding relationships and things that you are holding on to so tight. Saturn is going to come in and dismantle that. So start practicing non-attachment, start really connecting. I recommend journaling. I recommend, at the end of each night, here's something that I personally do is I will journal all of the things that I am proud of about myself. And then I also journal if there's any emotions that I need to still process from that day. And that actually can really help with non-attachment, because if you can do this at the end of every single day, not only is your mind going to be more clear and you can have a more sound sleep, but your body is also going to be more clear, because remember, emotions are stored within the body. So you are clearing the body, the mind, and the spirit as you are doing that. And the second one is to know your worth, to know your value, to know who you are, and to remember who you are, and to do any of that subconscious work that is maybe still lingering within you that could have happened years ago, or maybe there's something that's happening presently, but to stand in who you are and do not take or settle for anything less. And lastly, of course, like we just went over, be of service. Giving is living, and you get what you give. This is one of my favorite songs in the whole world. You get what you give. All right, my loves, sending you so much love for this Saturn return. If you have any questions, come to my website, send me a message over on Instagram, love Natalie Holbrook. And if you want to do a special Saturn return reading, I offer those as well. And have an amazing day, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.